just got to camp. It took us, what, like an hour and a half to get down here. We got this Archery tent that we're staying in. We think we've got a good vantage point for the morning, but we don't know because we walked in the dark. What time is it anyway? 10:58. It's time to go to bed. So we'll see you guys in the morning. And hopefully we can spot some elk. We did run into some fresh sign on the way down, so I feel pretty good about it. But we'll figure it out. Till breakfast, really. Spent some time glassing this morning, and you've got a bunch of mountains that we sort of keyed in on. There was an elk, as I had mentioned earlier, that was bugling sort of across this ridge. So what we're gonna do is pack up, heading towards Al. We'll go down this spine that's sort of to my left, down into the gut, go up the other side of this canyon, and then walk along the spine to get towards those meadows. That'll allow us to see the north and south slopes of both of these ridges for this afternoon. So we're packing up now. We're going to start heading over that way. You think that bear's up on the cliff still or what?
Yeah. This way. He might have went in, but he was hogging this cliff, for sure.
Well, that was 100% a bear then by the tent. Stuck in an absolute hellhole right now. Al's leading the way. We're trying to get over all this deadfall. There's a big cliff that we had to go around behind us, and this is dropping us down towards some wallows. We heard that bull probably a mile that way last night, so we're gonna keep skirting around, staying high above everything since the wind's going up the hill. We'll get around that wallow on the high side over to the plateau we want to camp on and set up. We gotta make it through this first. This is day 2 of our Colorado elk hunt. We got into a lot of sign last night on this north slope. The south slope behind me, which is already lit up, was way hotter, way less vegetation. And then we ended up having to come back down this canyon, through this dried riverbed, and then way up this super steep slope. We slept on a hill last night on an angle, which wasn't great. But today we're heading up behind me. There's we think a watering hole up there. If there's no water up there, we're going to circle back up to the cliff that we were on the first night, and we're just going to set up camp and glass, because there's a sort of a direct view into this watering area where we know there's water, and there's water pretty much nowhere up here. So we're trying to get hiking before it gets too hot, and Al and I just did rock, paper, scissors to determine who's shooting first, and I won. So if we can get on an elk today, I'm going to take a shot, and if I miss, he's up next. But we're packed up, we're heading out.
here in Colorado. We decided to sit on some water this morning. I'm overlooking this canyon. I've got 2 marsh areas right in front of me, and then there's another one right behind me. There's a bull bugling up on the hill, and I'm tempted to go move on him. I've only heard him sound off once though, so I'm not really sure if it's worth pressing him. He sounded pretty far off. Basically set myself up underneath these pines, and I'm pretty well concealed in a natural blind about 40 yards from the marsh that I expect animals to come in on, either feed or drink. There's some good grass in there. Everywhere else is so dry that it's not really worth it for them to come off the top of the mountain where all the timber is and then drop way down into the canyon. There's no water down there. There's no food down there. And last night I jumped 3 cows just pushing through the timber. I sat at that water hole earlier this morning for like 2-3 hours, and I had a bull up on top of this mountain range behind me in the timber, and then it sounded like another one was down in the canyon. The one in the canyon sounded off probably 3 or 4 times at a pretty far distance. I mean, he was ways away, and then all of a sudden he bugles again, and he's like 300 yards closer. And after that close one, he shut up for quite a while, disappeared way back up on the canyon, and I heard him on the other side. There's a bunch of oak brush up in there. I heard him sound off one more time. And since probably 7:45, everything's shut completely up. So I'm gonna probably head back to camp here pretty soon. I didn't eat dinner last night. I'm gonna go back, boil some water, and eat one of those peak meals.
Al and I mulled it over for a little bit, but we're packing up and we're getting out of here. This valley just doesn't have enough fresh elk sign. I mean, I did see 2 or 3 cows last night, but we're looking for a bull. That's ideally what we want to take. I've got shit everywhere because I'm trying to get it sort of organized so that we can get up this canyon and back to the truck. We're gonna try to find a new spot with less pressure. Our morning hunt this morning, I didn't run into anybody. We heard bugles all over the place. The only bugle that sounded real was sort of on the other side of this canyon, but there's no water over there, so we're not going over there. It took us like 6 hours to get down to that side, and we were only able to make it over there prior because we had water on our backs, but I'm not packing 9 liters of water again. That was brutal. So Al, on his way back from the morning hunt, he ended up running into 2 other hunters. They basically said that the region that we had come from originally was just jam-packed with people. So what we're going to end up doing is getting this camp set up, hiking to the height of the land, and we're just going to try to find some elk. We're going to try to glass them up because we haven't been able to do so. So I'm not fully convinced that this is the canyon that we need to be in, even though there's water. So it looks like we're targeting north slopes. The south slopes are bone dry, and hopefully we can get on some springs.
All right, it's 6:37 in the morning. Yesterday it was absolutely pissing on us. I'm in full rain kit. We're expecting some rain today, which is great because it actually cut out the temperatures. Nothing was moving. It was just too hot. They were on their bellies all day long. And Al and I, we went back to town. We decided to get some more snacks, some more water, because we were short on it and sick of hauling it around and trying to find it. what I've noticed is these elk are in this dark timber. There's a lot of aspen. There's a lot of sort of coniferous forests. That's where they're hanging out for the most part, and that's where the water's holding the best. So we decided to switch things up, try a new piece. We get down in that piece, it's absolutely pouring on us. And there was just no elk sign. There were no bull rubs. There was no scrapes. There was no poop. There was nothing. And all I kept seeing was just mule deer, buck after buck after buck. And we don't have a tag, of course. And there's just a bunch of nice muley scrapes in there. And I'm just thinking to myself, I'm like, this is perfect habitat for these elk. I don't know where they're at and why they're not here. But my assumption was that it was a little too close to the road. If you went down the canyon and up the other side, it was super steep with a lot of dark timber. I expected them to be hanging out in there. We end up getting out of the woods. We break down camp. We're going back and forth trying to come up with a plan as to where we're going to go next. And we finally just agree that we're going to go check a road out. And we get in the truck, we start driving down the road. And like a gift from the universe, 2 cows come flying across the road up into this piece. So we drove a little ways ahead of them, parked here, camped in the truck last night. We're backed up. We're going to be heading down this forestry road onto the plateau, and we're just going to still walk this piece all day long looking for bedded elk that are hiding in little micro pockets, because this unit gets hammered. Just found all the elk, or at least some of them. They're in this timber, this really dark stuff, just as we thought. I've been cruising through here super slow, still walking, sort of zigzagging amongst all this short timber, tall timber. Everything's dark in here with a mix of aspen. On my way in, not even 200, 300 yards from camp, I looked down and saw some fresh elk tracks, because there's not a lot of elk sign in here, which I'm like, there's no hunters, not a lot of elk sign. But the sign that I'm finding is fresh, so they've holed up in this tiny area, and they're not moving much during the day. And I ended up bumping a cow out of her bed. She was like 25 yards to my left. Totally could have killed her with my bow if it weren't for this thick forest. She got up, she took a couple strides and turned and was just behind a bunch of thick stuff and then busted out of there. Now I'm going real slow through here, playing the wind. My wind was going downhill when she got up out of her bed. And usually what they'll do is they'll circle. And any animal that uses their nose to survive will go downwind of whatever freaked it out to try to identify it. So I shifted. I didn't move for 20 minutes. I shifted downwind diagonally like 45 degrees, and now I'm trying to relocate that elk. So I'm going real slow, and I'm doing minimal interviews. It's pretty windy this afternoon. I just did lunch with Al, and now we're pushing back into the areas that we had a bunch of elk sign. His is further down the road. Mine's sort of up in a thermal. There's a lot of dark timber up in there that seem to be drawing them for bedding and refuge. It's super thick, so I don't think a lot of people are hunting in there. And I did find a water hole earlier that has water. And that's been a huge problem this entire trip, is we couldn't find water anywhere. So I'm just kind of resting my feet right now. I'm looking for a bedded elk. I haven't seen anything yet. It's only 2:38, so they are probably bedded, but it's just tough to find them. This is not one of those units that produces the elk experience that you're really looking for. It's just like finding whitetails back in New Hampshire. No calling whatsoever, just diamond in the rough. A ton of miles, a ton of work. We've only got a few days left, so we're trying to make the most of it. But I'm gonna keep skirting this edge, get up on top of this ravine, and work this steep slope parallel to the creek that's in the bottom of it. If I don't bump anything, I'll hike back to the top of the ravine, go onto the next finger, work that ravine, only on the north slope. If we've learned anything since being out here, the south slope sucks this time of year. There's no water. It's almost uninhabitable. You've got like a desert on the south slope and then forest on the north. It makes no sense. It rained real hard last night. And that would be completely washed out. There's a couple sets of fresh tracks going through all this brush towards a north-facing ravine. I'm using the wind to my advantage. I'm going to go high on the ravine and then walk alongside the edge down to the bottom of it, go back up the ravine, go over to the next finger, do the same thing. I had a cow in there this morning, so after finding some bull rubs, I'm curious to see if they're in there. This is all real fresh. Sort of going up this trail into the bedding area. I have a really good feeling that there's elk in here.
There's been a lot of people that are coming and going. You can tell the guys are already discouraged, which is crazy to me because it's early season. Like these elk aren't engaging with you whatsoever. So yesterday I was basically like, screw it. If they're not calling, if they're not active, I'm gonna go find their bedding areas. So I targeted ravines near water, with sort of dotted brooks on the map. In these western states, you might find reservoirs that ranchers have built up. So they basically created like a little beaver dam looking thing that collects water as it runs off the mountain, and they'll do this midway up high because most of the water can stay for majority of the year up top. Down bottom, it's cooked. There's not going to be any water. But you've got these little like reservoirs, and so the elk kind of pool up around it. They don't stay too close, but if there's dark timber nearby, you can find them. And yesterday I was just moving through stuff like this behind me, literally just like New Hampshire, super tight, stalking, still hunting. And as I'm making my way through this thick dark timber, I end up bumping a cow first thing in the morning. Al and I meet up for lunch around, it was like 1 o'clock, and we decided to go back into the spots that we had been hunting. Well, I decided to sort of cut the distance of where I saw that last elk and where we did lunch. And I'm like, I'm going to target the dark timber that's in and around that area. And so I get back in that spot, in that middle ground, sort of halfway to where I'd seen that last elk, and I'm kind of getting discouraged. It's super hot. Midday is like that here, early season. And so literally strip my pants down and walking around in long johns. And I get up after like 20 minutes of just sitting around, and I take like 10 steps, and I'm just really trying to look for these elk. And I hear stuff start crashing, and there goes 3 elk. And I'm like, motherfucker, like I can't get on these things. And so I'm like, the wind's blowing up the mountain. I'm assuming they're going to circle up the mountain and try to catch my wind. So I go straight up the mountain and try to circle them. And while I'm cutting through this thick stuff, right, I look to my right at one point, and 20 yards to my right is a giant cow laying down, staring right at me. We both lock eyes. I go to try to knock an arrow. She gets up and goes. I try to slow her down. Doesn't work. So she just takes off. I'm like, okay, we know the elk are bedding in here. Let me go above her wind, and see if I can get on anything. And so I'm pushing through some thick stuff again, and all I see are these 2 giant velvet antlers sticking through the evergreen. And it was 2 super tall spikes that weren't legal. Neither of them had a brown tine, and their antlers were too tall. So I was like, all right, I guess I'm gonna have to find something else. So we were in the elk yesterday. It took every bit of 5 days to find them. We're moving back down to those fingers. We're targeting north slopes that have those creeks and potential reservoirs on them. And we're just going to move super slow through there all day. So we'll see what happens. How was it, Al?
It's good.
Yeah?
It's good.
How are we feeling today?
Dude, excellent. Today's the day.
You think so?
Day 5 public land.
Yeah.
We got 1,300 people in here, and we got 12 elk. Time to find one.
Hey, well, we found him yesterday, so that's all that matters.
That's right.
We just need you to get some eyes on these elk too, and then I think it'll help with morale. But we need to get those cheesecake bites, dude.
Oh yeah.
So the only way we're doing that is if we put one on the ground.
You should have brought some Cocoa Puffs, dude.
Yeah, some cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Look at this. This place is kind of like, at this point, we just got shit everywhere. Living out of the back of this guy's rental. Call it home for now.
Trash.
Living on Rain energy drinks just so that we can keep it going. Jet Boil, that's cooking breakfast and dinner every day. The dude wipes are keeping our skin clean. Got creamy peaches and oats this morning for breakfast. And our trash has been hanging up in the tree all day. But I'm planning on getting on them this morning, so I don't know about you.
Got to.
We got to at least pull back on one before we get out of here. We got 3 more full days of hunting.
I'm pulling back on. Don't count on it, because I think we're going to get an elk.
Yeah.
So make that your priority today.
But that would be a good, this is like north facing, so that'd be a good spot to like go to anyways.
Yep, exactly. And so your wind, your scent's falling right now, right? So I was working the top yesterday because the scent was coming up. I would work middle to bottom, watching, like they're going to bed right up in here. Scent's falling to them right now. So you just don't want to be above them, your scent rolling into their bed. You want to be below them. But we know that they're going to be bedded on that slope. They know the sun's coming up. It's going to get hot. So, alright, let's fucking head in there and see what we can do.
It's now 10:58. I'm finding old bull sign, but nothing brand new. There's a lot of elk sign on this north-facing slope. And I've got a long ways to go on this finger before I go over to the next canyon and start hiking back up. So, thermals are not really affecting this hunt. The wind's all over the place. So, I'm hoping to just stay out of the way enough to avoid getting winded, which is hard to do because the wind's kind of coming up and down the mountain and then up and down the finger, this little gut. It's still super thick in here. It's just like hunting at home. I haven't heard any real bugles yet. It sounds like there might be one hammering down there, but it's too windy to tell. I'm gonna keep making my way through this area. Hopefully we'll run into something sooner rather than later. I just had a cow elk broadside at 30 yards, and I could have shot her, but she kept walking and I didn't want to stop her because I had a better clearing right in front of her. If she walked 3 more yards, I would have had a perfect hard shot. The wind started swirling. I could feel wind at my neck, and she disappeared behind like a cluster of aspens. I saw her turn around, she took off. I stopped her at 35 yards, just meow. She looked back, she didn't like it, she smelled me. She took off down there, I couldn't even get her to come back in with some cow calls, so. I'm only 40 yards or so from where that cow winded me. There's a nice bull rub back over here, that stick. He broke the top off. And there's a run. 2 runs that are sort of going back and forth, and I think that's what the cow was on. She was sort of laterally working this ridge above the creek that's in the bottom. It's all dry anyway. But I think it's taken me to a knob that they like to bed down on. As the wind comes up the mountainside, they've got all of it in their face. And then there's a weird crosswind that drops over the top. So it's sort of like they have wind from both directions. I don't know, I'm gonna keep moving this way and hopefully get into them soon.
It seems like the elk are just all over this place. There's good vegetation behind me. It's fairly open. There's good shrubs for them to hole up next to when they bed. I obviously just saw that cow, so I'm kind of optimistic that I might run into something hefty before the end of the trip if we keep hunting this pretty hard. You gotta appreciate this. The bull ripped all these limbs off, raking this tree, destroyed it, and he's hitting way up top. I'm gonna spend all afternoon in here. That's not a brand new rub, but they're starting to get newer. A lot of the ones that we were finding the first few days were like, yeah, right. They've been hitting those all summer, and now they're gone. All summer, end of the summer. Alright, I'm gonna get back to it, but that's pretty sick. Getting around these cows is a constant struggle in this unit. Other places I've been, you can walk right by them, but here they freak out and they run through the woods, and then they just blow up the bedding area that I'm about to walk into, and of course there's like a whole row of cows. So to stay downwind, I gotta go probably 100 yards left, up this ravine, and then through this spine where they were bedded yesterday, and I'm just hoping that there's some elk in there still, since I ran into that one on the other side of this finger today, but I don't know, it's been a long day and my feet are sore. I just messed that up. Meaning, I didn't realize my camera was already on. Fuck. It's alright though, I just smoked that cow. She just ran 12 o'clock straight up the side of this hill. And I saw my arrow deep inside her, right in the side of the chest. It's so crazy, like I work so hard to be successful at hunting and I always feel bad. I feel bad every single time. But she's gonna feed our family, so. I'm excited about it. I wanna give her some time. I get up there, get her gutted out, head back to camp, tell Al. And then, I guess we'll start quartering her out. It looked like a good shot, so hopefully I did a good job. I think I hear something stumbling around over there. It's been 30 minutes. We're gonna head down and see if we can find the arrow and or blood. Yep, we see running tracks. Triangular. I see no blood. We got blood. Yep, a little bit of blood here. Oh, blood splatter right here. This is the right elk. Oh wow, blood splatter right here. Okay, blood. 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 Oh yeah, that's bubbly. That should be lungs, man, come on. Hard steps right here, blood. Right there. Boom, baby. Let's go. Let's go, man.
she made it to the top of this hill, and then I heard crashing, and so she was gone in 5 minutes. And she had run, she made it like 45 yards. This is crazy. Wow, she's big. I am in a hellhole, and it's not going to be easy getting out of here. I am a ways from camp too. Al's not going to be happy about this. Let's go, man. You know, all I can say about this is I have been really hard on myself the last few years. I've been training and learning as much about these game animals that I can to be more effective as a hunter. And this year I decided, I was like, I'm not going to claim to be a professional elk hunter. I'm not going to go in here and try to shoot the biggest bull that they have to offer. I'm just going to go in here and try to fill my first archery tag. And to have done that with a bow at 22 yards while filming, I didn't get the shot on film because I'm freaking out while I'm drawn back, and I had my bow. I mean, I was held back for so long, it was crazy. But to have been able to do this, film the experience, hang out with a buddy, like this is just, you know, this is what it's all about. So I am going to probably get her gutted out, and then head back to camp, get help, and then hopefully, I don't know, hopefully we'll I guess hopefully we'll be able to get out of here and back by nightfall, but it's probably 3:30 now, so maybe 2 trips to do this whole thing. I don't know, we've never done it before. Female, September, and today is the 6th. Where are you, 6? Cut that guy out. It took me probably 4.5 hours to get that done. Got my bags, gotta load up the pack. I don't think there's any chance I can get back here tonight. I'm so gassed. So I'm gonna try to take one of these legs out of here, and then, I don't know, we'll see what happens from there. I'm gonna try to put this on before I claim to be manlier than I am. Oh yeah, that's not light. God damn. Oh, that's just 1/4. That is crazy. And my bow, I guess. And all the other shit. All right. It's crazy. No climbing sticks too. Those help a lot. Some people swear by them, others could care less. I have found that they're helpful, especially when you have a ton of weight going downhill. Oh. Oh. My butt is already on fire too. I haven't even gone 100 yards. GoPro's going away soon because it's gonna be too dark for it. Had to shoot it in a hell. This is absolutely brutal. I got 2 meat bags, a hind quarter on my back, my bow, chest rig. What else I got in that thing? Camera, water bladder, water bottle. I bet you I'm like 120 pounds right now. Carrying weight, maybe heavier. I got a ways back to camp, man. This is gonna be a grind, especially in the dark. And I'm just in a hellhole of blowdown, so I'm gonna put the GoPro away for a little bit, throw the headlamp on, just keep working. Oh yeah, these cows are all over the place in here. Shot. 2 front quarters doesn't even weigh close to what a rear is. Let me just figure this out real quick, bud.
More of a grab it like it owes you lunch money kind of guy.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, not light. Oh God, damn. All right. And then when you said you're coming, I was like, yes, I've got relief.
I was coming, dude.
And then I finally get to the truck and you're not there, and I'm like, what is going on here?
I was fucking coming, dude.
Still pretty cool. It's not like as cool as I would like it to be. Oh, that's nice and cold there. These Hornets are here to party. Oh, that one's wicked heavy, dude.
The one that I had?
Yeah.